XML file. There is a error in the XML file. So to continue to the yesterday we are progressing the some of the step, but the validation of the XML file is wrong. Actually, this XML file copied from the previous system, previous version. But you see here, the configuration file does not fit to the current system, which means it's a different XML file here, right? So why? Means when we created the XML file, so that time our component versions are different. Now we have the different component version here. See here, this depends here. Your STPI version differs from the 004 in the source system. So which means, so we keep on updating. We are keep on updating the. So that means our guys are practicing the STPI versions, right? Our guys are practicing the STPI versions. They are practicing. When we created the XML file, that time STPI version is different. STPI, the version is different here. When we created the XML file, the STPI version is different here. STPI version is different. It's a, but in the system, we have the different version. In the system, we have the different version here, right? So that is the reason it's giving the error. Now, what we have to do, either, so how I got the sort, how you find out the this error messages and everything here, right? So each phase in the sum tool, it will create the one log file here. It will create the one log file that is called the log file here. If you open this log file, we scroll down, it's clearly it is telling like, so the PI version is different than here. So we can see it here, right? So what is the current version in the system? Then what is there in the patches in the XML file? Why? Because the sum tool will run on the based upon the what is there in the your XML file, right? So your system and in the XML file both are not matching. So that is the reason it's giving the error messages here. It's giving the error messages here, right? So let's go to the patches here. So this is the XML file, right? Let's open the XML file here. This is opened in the, so let me type the word wrap. So now we need to find out the STPI. STPI. So what is the version of this STPI? So 001. Okay, it's a 001. So it's a 001 is there. It differs from the current version. The current version is, it's a 04, I think. Current version is the 04. So let's go to the system. So this type of issues you may get in the real times. Okay. So, so in that case, we need to clearly check what is the version 04, but what is the version is there in the system? It's a 001. So what we can do, either we can change this to the 04 or we can remove this one. We can remove this one. It's possible. Actually, the manual changes are not, we cannot do the manual changes here, right? This is not possible. So why? Because we should not edit manually this XML file, but sometimes it's fine. Okay. I just changed the 04, but let's see whether it will take it out or not. Okay. So then go to here, just click on the next button. Yes. So it's moved to the next step, right? It's moved to the next step. This is the way we need to fix the issues. So that's why always checking the log files. So always we need to observe the log files, all those things here. Well, because anyone can do this one, loading to the sum tool, and they can keep on watching it. But checking the logs, what's happening in the phases here, are there any errors are reporting in the system or not? So that is the main thing here. The identifying the error messages. At least identifying the error message. That is the very important thing. So copying the kernels, all the kernel files are copying here. So copying the kernel files to the, so in the some directory, some above exe directory, it is copying here. So copying the kernel from sysexe to some above exe folder. Why? Because the shadow system creation purpose, the sum is doing this one here, right? In the extraction phase, the sum is doing this step here, right? That's what here it will happen in the system. So our changes are success now. So now the next step it is doing the sum above, so then exe, sum above exe. Here your kernel files are loading here. Kernel files are loading here. Kernel files are loading in the system here. So here 357 files. Okay, 357 files. So these kernels are copying from the our main instance folder. These kernels are copying here, right? So kernels are copying. So once that is done, then it's checking the instance list. Sometimes we may face the issues with the instance list also here because of so wrong instance numbers, wrong profiles, all those things. It may face the issues as well here. So see here it is happening 3. So it will run. So the main thing is the extraction and configuration phases here. So once all are okay, then it will go, and then remaining steps will run very smoothly here. So extraction phases, XML validations, inconsistency checks, all those things will be performed in the extraction configuration phases, in the checks phases. So if these 3 phases are going went very smooth, then remaining phases also will run very smoothly. So it will create the transport request, it will create something, everything it will be done by now. So just we need to see what is the percentage, what are the log files, so are referring, and so what is the what is the step it is running, what is the step here, deletion the upgraded tools, some other things. It will run one by one, it will complete it here. Okay, so this is running now. So in configuration steps or some of the one of the step, it will ask us to update the notes, missing note implementation, and everything here.
Sir, Mr. Aditya, sir.
Yes.
Sir, yesterday I discussed like in the sum tool, you have mentioned that you need to log in with the admin level while using the sum tool.
At admin level, SID ADM, you need to use it. Okay. Suppose like you
That
see, I'm in the admin SID ADM. So I see you are facing the some issues, right? What I will do, I will copy this sum file to the one of the location, like some new file folder I'm creating. Why? Because if I do it now here in this folder, so it will corrupt the existing one. So what I'm doing here, I move it to the separate folder here. Then here you see, just see here cmd command. You have to open the command prompt. Okay. Otherwise, one more way. Manually open the command prompt in the just CMD.
That is home page.
In which drive? You have the E drive. Okay, E drive, CD, VSR, SAP, NW1, and slash some hyphen new folder. Okay, in this folder you have the sum file is there. So SAP car space hyphen XPF space then sum. So normally we have to give the full path, but
Yes.
the lazy mans will do, instead of giving the full path, okay, one file is there, right? They will give the star dot SAR, then enter. See, it is extracting. Then what is the wrong here? It is extracting, right?
Yeah. And how did you get this? Like a no WN WN1 ADM, sir. That login ID and password.
W1, NW1.
NW1 login ID and password. So where you can get
Same
the sir?
password, same password. Everybody knows that same password. Same password we are using. With SID ADM, we have to extract the sum tool, right?
Okay.
If you do it your user ID does not have any environmental variable. So SID ADM user is the environmental variable. Any operating system level activities, if you are any extraction, you need to use the SID ADM user. Or without SID ADM user also, we can also do that one. But you need the SAP car file is required. SAP car file is required here. So suppose example, in the software folder, you see, in the software folder in the SWPM, the first time we are extracting, we are downloading the SAP car file. SAP car file is required. In case if you are doing with the other than SAD ADM, then you need the SAP car file is required. SAP car file is required. If you are doing the extraction with other than this one, you need the SAP car file is required. Then you can execute the script. When you are doing with the SID ADM, you don't require SAP car file. Why? Because it will come as a in the kernel file. You don't require that thing. So I hope you are able to log in, right? I think there is a password policy, so it reset, I think. So maybe you can try to log in. It works. So each and every phase, it will sub phases, it won't ask your confirmation, it will carry, but extraction to configuration to checks, it will ask your confirmation. Then so we need to check each and everything here. Suppose if any errors or something is happened, then we need to check the what's happened here. What is the error message here? So all those things we need to check clearly here. See, this is running. So there is a one step will come here. So that is like a check the notes. Notes. So yes, notes. Any missing notes are there, that will check here. If the any notes are there, that will check here, then we have to implement the note that time. So there is multiple notes we may have to implement in our systems. So that phase will come somewhere here. Check notes. Notes. The only thing is here in the upgrade part, we have to wait until it will go to off. Then there's a one final overview discussion, what exactly happens in each and every phase and what will happen and how the shadow will be that will happen. But so if you progress up to some middle 50%, Then I can explain the overview, then remaining things we can run in the background mode. So that is the main thing. So now what we have to do, we have to wait. Importing the tools. Now imports. So just we have to see what's happening, what will happen in the next steps. These all are the phases, sub phases. These all are the sub phases here. And check the logs here. So always SAP UP dot log file, it will be updated. Then what is the phase is running, that phase related log file will be so updated. Then so these log files are getting updated here. So let's see what will have background. There is some TP transport and TP processor running here in the buffers. Tool import is running. So exit code modified. So these many bytes means 1 GB, I think almost 1 GB modified in the database. So which means 1 GB data modified in the database here. So what's happened? So it deleted the some of the tables. So this much of in-deep knowledge is not required. First, so what's happening in the traders here? So what will is happening? So each and we can see it here. Each and everything is logs are getting updated here. Right. So there is a one more tool underscore. This is also 0. So SQLDB not required. There is a outside today, Independence Day. So outside very nice. So you can see here each and every time it is updating the log file. So immediately it will update the log file, the phase related log files here. Yeah, DDP. DBTP batch jobs. Yes. You see now. So extraction is completed. Okay. Extraction step is completed now. So download directory, what is happened here in the download directory. So all the whatever it's checked, it will give the overview here. Then when we go to the configuration step here, in the configuration step is very important here. So disable the archive mode. So that is fine. Okay, we can keep the default one. Here in the configuration step, it will ask the this is step is very important here. Entire your upgrade run based upon this step only, right? So in the configuration of the parameters like SPDD, SPAU request, right? I will explain what is this SPDD, SPAU request, right? So then the data dictionary that above team will do. Then it will ask the any transport request, that will ask the transport request here. So here you can see batch job checks. Yeah, uptime, how many parameters. So downtime, how many process, R3 load process, HSQL process, TP process, all these things will ask now. So it will provide all the details here. So check for nodes. You can see check for nodes. Now it is checking the nodes, node implementations, right? The found there the 37 nodes need to be implemented in our systems. They are the 37 nodes. 37 nodes we have to implement in our systems. So this is the blocker. So this is a blocker for us. So these are all the nodes, missing nodes we have to implement in our system. Otherwise, we could not able to proceed the upgrade. So this is the blocker. It got failure. So now what we have to do? We need to update the nodes. We need to check the nodes, all the nodes where it is there. So let's check here. So it's everybody. So you need to start implementing the nodes. You can divide it all together. Go to the S node transaction code. Then we can upload the node. But where these nodes are there, maybe you need to download it. So we have to download that nodes. Then we have to import. So anyone can go ahead and implement these nodes. First of all, downloads are required. Then node implementation, right? Then we have to implement all these nodes here. So I will paste it here in the C drive. So in the C drive, I will create the one text document. Missing nodes. So all these nodes we have to implement into our system. Then only we can able to proceed further. So now everybody 37 nodes, right? Everybody take 5 nodes or 2 nodes, 15 members, 15 into 2. So 30 nodes we can implement it simply, right? So everybody, if you take the time, if you start implementing, so then we can able to proceed all those things. Otherwise, so now it's a blocker for us. So now let's see nodes. So now downloads, everybody, anybody can able to do that one. It's not implementations.
I will do it, sir.
Okay.